Welcome everyone to another episode of the Chuck Graham Show. Today, excuse me. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the auditors I see on YouTube that are auditing the police, right? And I think it's stupid. Is my first take on it. My second take on it is this. I watched one just a few days ago. It was where they were going into California. And they were stopped by there's a toll right there as you go into California, and they randomly stopped people. And this family was in there. A guy was in there with his wife and his children, and he was one of these auditors that I'm gonna roll the window down like a crack, right? And I'm gonna invoke my constitutionally protected rights. Well, he did more talking than anybody should if he's trying to invoke the Fifth Amendment. Ohio versus Rayner. The Fifth Amendment's basic function is so that innocent men don't get ensnared by ambiguous circumstances. Quote, the Fifth Amendment is for innocent people. It gets a bad rap, but it really is. United States Supreme Court. Again, in Ohio versus Rayner. Now, the fact of the matter is this. He said that unless you have a warrant to search my vehicle, you cannot do this inspection. Well, here's where you get in the gray area, and here's where you get to where somebody don't know what the hell they're doing. And ultimately, it got his window busted out and him taken to jail. Now, the cops that did it were like way too patient. I mean, they were, come on, we just need to write you the ticket, and then you can go on your way. And they stood outside his car 20 minutes. All because he thought that they didn't need a warrant to inspect his vehicle for indigenous fruits that you bring into California. Keep in mind, California supplies most of the country with oranges, apples, all that. They don't need any infestations that go in there that could damage the crops. So there is a difference between a search and an inspection. The ones that were inspecting were not law enforcement. They were just workers that inspected vehicles. And the California Supreme Court has upheld that it does not violate your constitutional rights for them to inspect your car. So folks, before you get into this shit about auditing the police, and I just watched another one. He was on his phone, he wasn't wearing his seatbelt, and he said, I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment right. And he, again, talked more than any person should talk, right? And so he says he's invoking his rights, and that he was in his free reign of travel, and that it wasn't a violation for him not to have his seatbelt on because he wasn't in the process of commercial travel. And that's another misinterpretation of Oklahoma law. I don't agree with the seatbelt. I think it's an unconstitutional law, but at this point, it's still the law, and they haven't overturned it because the only challenge to it was made by the ACLU and them fucking brainiacs. And what they did is they took it and they said that it's unconstitutional because you can't be arrested for a crime that doesn't hold any jail time, which was nonsense. What they should have argued that you have the right to your own personal health care standard. That's what they should have argued. Not that you couldn't be arrested for a crime that didn't hold any jail time. It was the stupidest argument I've ever seen. But the point being is this. It's still the law. And so if you get stopped and you want to argue the constitutionality of it, you don't do it to the officer on the freaking beat, which outside of disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and traffic violations, don't know what the hell you're talking about. You can bring up every case law, period. If it would have been me and I would have wanted to challenge that, I would have just said, thank you, officer, appreciate it. I would have taken that ticket, and then I would have filed a flood of fucking motions in the court. So the point being is this. To you auditors, most of you. Now, there's some channels that actually research and what they do is like there's a channel called Audit the Auditors, and he's pretty good. He does pretty good with it. But the fact of the matter is this. chances are, because the laws are so complex and it takes hours upon hours upon hours to research the case law that either backs up or overturns the statutory law, that unless you're an attorney or you've had extensive training or you've worked with an attorney for years, you're not going to know how to do that, and you're going to most likely misinterpret the freaking statute, and you're going to take and get your fucking ass put in jail. And then someone's going to explain to you, well, yeah, but it doesn't apply in this case. So, and the laws are so complex, just give it a rest. And a lot of these guys will set it up. They'll do stuff to get attention from the police. That's my take on it. If you like my message, just hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, and share the video. And I'll talk to you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.